Guys, welcome to my channel Govardhan Institute. Today we will learn how to send a notification from a single Android application to another Android application. So now guys, let's start. So firstly, let me list out. Okay, so guys, here what we will do. This is my sender Android application with a simple UI with two added text and a button. Now whenever you will click on this button with some data in the title and message part, the notification will send to this another application that's nothing but a notification receiver. Okay, so we will learn this thing how to send an Android app, how to send the notification from notification sender application to notification receiver application. So now guys, let me list out what we require actually. So guys, to perform this task, we require two applications. The first one is notification sender and one more Android application that is notification receiver. Guys, we required one more thing to store FCM key. So here I used a web server with the MySQL database to store the FCM key, and we required Firebase cloud messaging server to send the notification as well as to generate the FCM key. Okay, guys. So now, firstly, let me design the database. So let me start the web server. I already started that. Create the database and create a table with two columns, that is ID and token. So let I show what I did here, which I already created actually. So this is localhost phpMyAdmin. Inside that I have a database. The name of the database is notification. Okay, and inside that I have a table that is not underscore table with two columns as we discussed. The first column name is ID. Let me just open the structure. The first column name is ID, and guys, it is in primary key. I already set it, that one is a primary, and another one is a FCM. Just create these two things. Just create two columns. The first one is ID with the integer type of data, and it's an auto incremented. Another one is FCM underscore key. That's a column name with the varchar and with the 500 as in width. Okay, so that's that. So that's the database and table with two columns, ID and FCM. Now that's it. Now guys, let me just go through the PHP files which we will deal, PHP files responsibility is to deal with this database. So I have two PHP files. The first one is insert underscore key.php and get underscore key.php. So guys, for that, what I did, I just create a folder in a www folder of the WAMP. So just go to the C drive in a WAMP folder. If you have a XAMPP installed in your system, just go to the XAMPP, and in a WAMP, just go to the www, as well in a XAMPP, just go to the htdocs folder. Now in this www folder, I create one more folder that is Android underscore notification. Inside that, I just define two files, that is get underscore key and insert underscore key. Let's just open these files. I will show the code of that. So guys, this is nothing but an insert underscore key .php file, and these are the basic information about the database. So that is a database name, that is a local host, means I'm using the local database, in short PHP files, and a database is loaded on the same system. Okay, so that's a local host, that's some credentials to enter in the database, that's a root, password is blank in my system. So guys, this is a typical code to connect with the database. Now I will just, this file will receive FCM key from an Android application, and keyword for that key, that's a key. I just use a key as a name of the key. Okay, you can use anything over there. Okay, but remember that thing, we will have to use the same thing inside the Android application also. So I just use a key as a name. Now that's a simple insert query. That's a typical insert query to insert the data in a table. So my table name, that's not underscore table, having as we already discussed that, having two columns, ID and FCM underscore key. So I want to insert the data in FCM underscore key only. So here we have FCM underscore key as in column name, and this variable having a data actual. So I just use that. Now on the successful insert, it just return a success, and on the failure, it just return the failure. Okay, so that's a simple code to insert the data in a table. So guys, just copy that, just copy and paste that, and create a simple PHP file. That we will use that one to insert the token in a database. Now another one is that's a get underscore key.php. That's just used to read the content from the database. So this typical code to connect with the database. and the query select star from your table name. And here the table name is under notification underscore table in the shell not underscore table. I just use that. And here you have to specify your database name. In my case, the database name is notification. Okay. So guys, this is a simple query. I just fire the query, read the column data, and the column name, that's FCM underscore key as we know. Now that's a typical code. It's a simple PHP code to read the data from the database and just return the key. Okay, that's it. Now let me resume our slide. So we create the database. We just write some code in a PHP file to deal with the database. So now guys, let me start to develop the Android application. So firstly, we will write the code for the notification receiver. So first of all, let me list out the steps which we have to perform to develop this notification receiver Android application. So firstly, just create a simple Android application. That's quite easy. That's our first step. Create a new Android application. Now connect that application with the Firebase. In short, register your application with the Firebase server. Now receive the token from the Firebase. After that, add that token in a database and add some required permission and just run your application. Okay, now let me just go through the steps. So the first step, I will not explain how to create an Android application. I think all of you are familiar with this first step. So let me start with the second step. Register your application with the Firebase. So guys, just follow the steps. Firstly, go to the tools menu. Let me perform parallelly. So guys, I already created the Android application. So my application name is not underscore demo, which is actually used to receive the notification. So let me follow the steps parallelly as I shown in a like a PPT. So just go to the tools menu, select the Firebase option. So here we have in a PPT, I just mentioned all the steps. Click on the tools menu, select the Firebase option. So one assistant will be open on the left hand side. So it is loading actually. So after that, just select the second option. Just scroll up and select this cloud messaging as I mentioned in a PPT. After that, just click on this option, set up Firebase cloud messaging. Just click on this. Here it is. Set up Firebase cloud messaging. Now after that, you have to just select one more option, that is connect your application with the Firebase. It will take a time. So here I already connected my application with the Firebase. Here there is a button. So just click on that. After that, one pop-up, one dialog box will be open. And that dialog box is to connect your Android application with the Firebase server. Okay, now before that, be sure that you already logged in your Android application. Okay, so just click on that and be sure that you already sign in your Android application. After that, you can connect your application with the Firebase. Now the second, after this connect, we have to just follow one more, that's add appcm to your application. It will add some dependency in your application. So here, this is the second step. I already followed that also. Add appcm to Firebase. So here, that was a button. Just click on that button. It will add some dependencies in the Gradle file. Okay, now the next step is, guys, actually this Firebase assistant will add some older dependencies in the Gradle. So what I did, I just changed that older dependencies with the latest one. Okay, so just open the second Gradle, in the sense application level Gradle file, and inside that, just I just minimize this assistant. Okay, now inside that, just search that dependency for Firebase messaging service, and replace it by this statement. That's the latest one right now. That is the latest one. So you can search in a Google for the latest library. Okay, now after this Gradle. So that's that. Now second step is over. We just list out our steps. So the first step is create the Android application. 1 minute. Yeah, here it is. Let us just create a pointer. So that is a create the Android application. So you already performed that. After that, register your application with the Firebase. So for that, just open the tools, click on the Firebase, select the cloud messaging, and perform the tasks like connect the application with the Firebase and update the Gradle. That's it. Now the next task is just I want to receive the token. So for that, okay, for receive the token, you have to just create a service and extend that service from the Firebase messaging service. Let us just perform this task. So guys, now what I did in this Java double click on the Java, open this package. Now I add the package actually. I just create one more package, and inside that I just add, okay, this is not application. Okay, here it is. 1 minute. So that's the receiver actually. Just open the Java, double click your package. Now I have an package. So to create this package, just right click on your form.example.notification demo1, select the new option and click on this package. Now whatever the name you want to provide, like ABCD, you can just write down. I just create a package with send notification pack as a name. Inside that package, I just create a service. So just select this one, service, and just click over here, service. Okay, now just give the name. I just write the name, and that is nothing but a my Firebase messaging service. Okay, now click on the finish button. I already developed that code, so I will not click the finish. I will just select the cancel. You have to just click on the finish button. Now after that, you will have a class. Oh, that's a class with a typical code. Do not worry about that. What you will have a class like consider if your service name is my service. If your service name is my service, then it will be extended from the service, and it will have some code inside that. So guys, do one thing, just remove all this code, and also remove this service class. Okay, now add, now after that, after removing that service class, just add one thing, that is the Firebase messaging services after this extends word. In short, just I want to say, define a class. Actually, this is not a class, that's a service actually. So define a service and inherit that service from Firebase messaging service. That's it. And just remove all the code from that class. Means create an empty class, create an empty service. Okay, so if some codes are there, predefined codes are there, just delete all this. Okay, now I will just explain all this code which I already written over here. Now guys, what is our next step? We was working actually how to receive the Firebase token. We was on this topic. So now the next task is after defining this service, after just define a service and inherit that from the Firebase messaging service, override one method that's on new token. Just override this token method. Okay, override this. Just press a control space. Just press the control space and just start typing on new token. I already defined that, so it will not display the help. Okay, so you have to just define this method, nothing else. Simple. Just define the method. Ignore the other things. Just do this thing, nothing else. So that's that. It will automatically execute when your application will be run first time. It will automatically call and will receive the token from the Firebase. That's it. Okay, so just define this method, nothing else. For the cross verification, I just write a log. Okay, I just write the log. I want to just check if token is created or not. If you do not want, then just ignore this statement also. So what you have to do, you have to just define the service, and inside that you have to just define a function. That's that. Okay, forget the remaining code. I will explain that thing also. Now that's that. So just define on new token method. Now the next thing is, now what is my requirement? Now I have a token. Now I want to add that token inside the database. Now I want to work with that PHP files, which is responsible, which having some responsibility to deal with the database. Okay, so what is the PHP file name? Let me just memorize that thing. Let me recall that thing. My PHP file name is insert underscore key.php, and that was inside the folder Android underscore notification. So the folder name is Android underscore notification, and the file name is insert underscore key. And I want to check one more thing. Okay, what is the name of the key? That's a key. Means this file will receive the data, and the name of that data must be key. Okay, so right now just remember three things: the file name, the folder name, and the variable name which you used over here. So that's a key actually. Okay, just remember three things: file name, that is insert underscore key; a folder name, that is Android underscore notification; and the name you used over here to receive the data. Okay, now let me continue our Android application. So guys, my next task is add the token to the local database. So for that, I used a retrofit library. So for that, you have to firstly add the dependencies in Gradle. Okay, so what? Just search for these dependencies, otherwise just copy and paste the same thing in your Gradle. So guys, here I just open my Gradle. I will open this Gradle file. That's an app level Gradle, and add these two more links. That's nothing but a dependency for the retrofit and a JSON link. Okay, now after this, you will have a sync now option on the right top. Just click on that and wait for a moment up to that Gradle will be built. Okay, now after that, so that's that at the dependencies for retrofit. And now guys, now to work with the others used to retrofit, we require two classes. First thing I require API underscore service. You can write on anything in the place of this name. You can use any name as per your choice. And one class I require to create a retrofit object. So now this is nothing but an interface. How to create interface? Just right click on your package, new, and just select the class. Where is the class? Oh yeah, here it is. So just click the class, select the interface option, and whatever the name you like, just give the name. I used API service option. Okay, I just used the name API service. Okay, I already created it, so I will not press enter. So now on this API service, I have a function that is insert. You can use any name as per your choice. Now insert key function I will call to insert the token in a database. Now insert key function will internally will call that PHP file. So what is the PHP file name and where that file was stored? So the folder name was Android underscore notification, and this is the file name. You have to just specify that thing over here, because this function will use this file, so we have to provide the URL, means a folder name and the file name. Okay, so just write down @get and folder name and the file name. Okay, now what is this? This is a variable which we already used in this file. Okay, so if you used any other name, then you have to use the same name over here. Okay, so that's that. So my function name is insert key. So in this API service interface, I just declare a function. Okay, now what about this client underscore vim? In that, I just create a retrofit object and a function that's a get client, which will receive a URL, and that function will return a retrofit object. So just to go through this code, that's a typical one to create a retrofit object. Now let me come to our messaging service. Okay, so that's it. We just define API interface having a function that's insert, and we just go through that to create a retrofit object. Now after that, let me perform the task. So now guys, if you want to connect your Android application with the web server, or if you want to access the PHP file, so you have to just get the IP address of your system. So for that, what I will do, I will just open the start menu, will type cmd, press enter, and just write down this thing, ip config. Just pass this command, and just find the IPv4 address. So in my system, that's 192.168.0.7. Just note it down. Okay, so that will be the URL of your or IP address on which the WAN server is actually running. Okay, so that thing we have to pass to retrofit. Okay, so now just find that, open the start menu, type the CMD and IP config. Now add this code or use all this concept in a on new token, because on new token, this is my on new token function having an token actually received from the Firebase cloud messaging services. Okay, so our code is up to this. Okay, we define the function, we just override the function, nothing else. Now inside this, what you have to do, you have to just create a reference of this API service. So just write out API service and an object name. After that, use this client web server, use this class client underscore vim and call the method get client. Pass the URL in this is IP address. Okay, so what I did, client underscore vim, that's my class name, and the dot get client, that was a method defined in this class, and I just passed the URL http://192.168.0.7 that I was found in that by passing that command IP config. Now guys, just call one more method, that is create, and pass API service dot class as an argument. So what it will return, it returns an API service. Okay. Now in this API service, we already defined a function that's an insert. So guys, call this function. Here we have an object. Just call this function API service one dot insert key and pass the token variable name. So whatever the variable name over here, it has a token data. So just pass that variable and follow this code and just write this code. Okay. Now this this callback instance having two functions, the on response and on failure. So if token is successfully inserted in your local database, this function will be invoked, and in the failure, this function will work. So I think that's quite simple code. So now guys, I just add a log to just cross check the token is successfully inserted or not. So now that's that. So now the next thing is we have to just write some code to receive the notification. Okay, so here we connect our application with the Firebase. After that, we receive the token and we add the token. We just write the code to add the token in a database. Now the next thing is we have to add some methods for the notifications. So guys, override one more method that is nothing but on message received. Just override one more method that is on message received, and just add this code inside that. Now I will code this one. I will explain this code in after some moment. After the sender application, we will just go through this one. Okay, and after this code, so this title and message are the string variable. Actually here it is. Okay, I already declared over here. So the title and message are the string variables, and one more variable I just create, that's channel. Okay, so just read the data and call the notification function. So that's a typical notification code. You can just Google out for that, how to create a notification in Android. You will find this code. I just copied and pasted. But in that, I just modified this code over here. Firstly, I just add the icon. So for that, just right click on your drawable folder, go to the new, and just click on this vector assets. And just click on this clip art, write down notify. So I will get some icons to choose as per your choice. You can just select any one of them, and I just choose this one. Okay, now just add that icon, and whatever the title you want to display on a notification and message, just pass that. So set content title and set content text, and remaining thing you can just set as per your requirement. And guys, I have one more activity that's in second activity. That means whenever the notification is appear in a receiver application, and you will click on that notification, what you want to perform. So I want to just open this second activity. So what I did, I just create an object of the intent class, like intent is equals to new intent in the bracket this comma second activity. Okay, and I just passed it object to the pending intent. Okay, so here it is. Here my code is there. So in a pending intent, I just pass my intent object. In short, whenever notification will appear in my system and I will click on that, I want to open this second activity. So what I did, I just right click on this package on a new, I just create a new activity. That's an empty activity. The code is quite simple in that. Let me go through that. So it's a default Android code, but I just modified an XML file. So I add an text view with a message that's a second screen, with a message that is a second screen of notification receiver application. So that's quite simple. Okay, okay now, so that's that is a notification code. Now use the notification manager compact to notify or to generate the notification. Now guys, we have to add one more function if you are using an Android latest than the Oreo version. Okay, so just copy this code from the Google, or you can just copy from my channel also. Okay, and I just call this function create notification channel from this notification. So that's that. So in this service, we defined on new token and on message received. From that on message received, we just call the notification. So guys, whenever your application is installed first time, this on new token will be invoked, and the token will be automatically inserted in the local database. And whenever your application will receive a notification, this on message received function will invoke, will be automatically called by Android system. So from that, I call this notification function. So this code is responsible to generate the notification. Okay, so that's that, guys. So let me continue from our slide. So I just added all this function. Okay, now just add some required variables which I already used. So I already explained this. Okay, now that's it. Our application is almost done. And this is for the second activity. Whenever you will click on your notification, what you want to do. Now, guys, I already explained how to add the notification icon also. Now, finally, we have to add some required permission in manifest. So just open your manifest file. I require only a single permission. That's an internet permission. And guys, if you want to work with the local database, we have to add one more thing, that is uses clear text traffic equals to true. In application tag, you have to add this thing. And guys, we create a service, and that service was already declared over here. Now we have to add one more code inside that, that is intent filter. We have to inform Android system that this service please allow this service to receive the message from the Firebase. So add this code inside that. Okay, so that's that. Manifest, you have to just add the permission. You have to just request to clear the traffic, and just add the service tag if the tag is not there, and add this code. Okay, so that's that. So now let me continue our manifest. So here the code for the service. So now guys, that's that. Now run your application and check the check the code is inserted, the token is successfully inserted in the database or not. Okay, so after that, let me start to develop notification sender. So as we did in notification receiver, just list out all the steps which we will perform. So guys, let me list out all the steps for the sender application also. So first of all, we have to create an Android application. We have to connect it with the Firebase. So these are the quite simple steps. The next, create an UI to get the data from the user. So inside that, I will create two edit text and a button. After that, add a code to read the token from the local database, send the notification, and add some required permissions in a manifest. So this much of steps we have to perform for the sender application. So first step I will not perform, as you know, because that's quite simple, how to create an Android application. Now the second step is, we already know this step. So let me just open the Firebase assistant, just go to the tools menu, click on the Firebase, the assistant will be open. Now in this Firebase, just select the cloud messaging, and inside that, just select this option. Okay, just click on this Firebase, set up Firebase cloud messaging. Okay, so and follow these first two steps. Connect your application with the Firebase and add FCM to your application. So that's it. So follow these two steps. Now, as I told, here in my system, I just got an older definition, older dependencies. So what I did, I just opened the Gradle file and add the latest dependencies. And guys, if you want to add, then add that retrofit dependencies also, because I need that in a next upcoming steps. Okay, so just add all these dependencies, all the three dependencies, and just press on a sync now button on the right top. It will appear over here, something like that. Just click on then sync now and wait to update your grid. So that's that. So now let me create a simple UI with two edit text and a button. So I have a single activity. I just rename the main activity with send notification. I will just minimize this assistant. Now let me open this send notification, and let me open the activity file, sorry, XML file. So in this XML, I have two edit text and a button. Okay, so first edit text for the title, because this is a sender application. So what I thought, like a sender guy has to add a title of the notification, and has to add the notification body part. So for that purpose, I just create two edit text. First for the title, another for the message part. And I just create a button. So whenever user will click on this button, press this button, and notification will send. So that's quite simple. Now in an activity part, guys, create to edit text. I just create to edit text and a button object. Okay, let me just undo. And I just use this code in an onCreate function. I just add this code to connect this Java object or activity object with the XML part. That's it. Okay, and after that, I just register the send button by on-click listener for the on-click event on that button. So send dot set on click listener, automatically it will define a function that is view on click. Okay, on click with the view as an argument. I will explain all this code later onwards. Okay, so that's that. Up to that, that's in UI part. Just consider this is the UI part. Create the UI part and create some objects in Java part and connect this object with the XML. So that's that. Now read the token. Now the next task is UI part is done. Now read the token from the database. So for that, we will use a retrofit. So just add the dependencies. We already added them. Now create an API service interface. So I just create a package, inside that create an API service interface. And in that, what I did, I just defined a function get. Now guys, so who is responsible to read the data from the database? So we know PHP file is there and the name of the PHP file is get underscore token. And that PHP file was inside the folder Android underscore notification. As I told, I have a folder that is Android underscore notification and get underscore key is a file. So guys, let me specify that thing over here, Android underscore notification, that is a folder name, and get underscore key dot php, that's a file. Okay, now this function is used to token, just I mentioned over here, this is used to token from the database. Okay, so just write this code, just forget this thing. Just forget this thing, I will explain this in a later. So just create an interface, like interface, API interface, I just create, right click on that, package, new Java class, select the interface, just give the name over here and write this code. That's that. Now guys, for the retrofit object, define a class. I just define a class with the name client underscore web. So right click on your package, select the new option, click on the class and write the name. Okay, and just give the name of the class. So I just define this class and write the code to create a retrofit object. We already learned this in a notification receiver application. Okay, the same code is there, just copy and paste that. Okay, so that's used to create a retrofit. So you are just go, this file is completed. Now guys, let me just explain some more classes. So we will use these classes further. So this is the data class, which is just used to hold the notification data, having only two data members, title and message, having a parameterized constructor, default constructor, and some getter setter method. Okay, so that's the data class. Now that is a response class having only an integer variable, which we will use the notification is successfully sent or not. Okay, now after that, the notification sender, having a data class object as a data member and a string too. So here we will use two different things. That's a to, means to whom you want to send the notification and which data you want to send. Inside this data, we have two things, and two things are title and message. Okay, so this thing we will deliver to a receiver application. This thing means that this data object we will deliver, we will send. So sorry, we will send this data to the receiver application. Okay, in this data we will specify our data. Otherwise we will add two keys with our data. The first key is title and another key is message. Okay, I told you one thing in a receiver part. I just told that I will explain this code later onwards. So guys, here we used the title and message. This is my receiver application. Be careful. This is my receiver application. Inside that my Firebase messaging service, I just use these two words, that is title and message. So what about these two words? These two words must be same as an data member name of this class. Okay, so if the data member name are A and B, if you used AB, then you have to use A and B over here. So be careful for that. These are nothing but a data member name. In short, I will pass the data as in JSON format, So these are nothing but a JSON key. Okay, so whatever the name you used over here in a data class, you have to use the same name as in a receiver application to read that data. Okay, so that's that. This is the data class, this is response class, and this is the notification sender. We will use this class in further after some moments. We will use this class. Okay, so we was discussing this class actually. So now our task is I want to just read the notification. Sorry, I want to just read the token from the local database. So for that, we just define the API service class and the client underscore web class we define. Now the next task is whenever user will press on that button, okay, whenever user will press on that button, what is my task? I want to just read the notification. I want to just read the token. So let me open this activity, and on this click event code, in this click event code, let me create an object of this API service. So just I create an API service object, and by using this client underscore web function. Okay, guys, do not forget to provide the URL, in short IP address, on which your web server is working actually, launched actually. Okay, now using that, you will just get, using this code, you will get an object of API service. Now call this get key function. What is the get key function? That get key function will connect your application with this PHP file, and will get the token from the database. Okay, so here there is a code. On the successful execution of this method, we will have this on response function will execute. Okay, so what I will do in a response, from this response.body, I will just get the token. So now guys, after the successful execution, this user underscore token variable will have a token of that receiver application. Okay, now just call this send notifications function and pass the token as an argument, and we defined we already create to edit text to get the title and the body, title and message part of the notification. Just get the data from that edit text. So my first edit text name is a title, another edit text name is a message. So what I did in this send notification function, I firstly pass a token. After that, I use the first edit text, that title.getText.toString, and another edit text, just read the data from both edit text. That's that. So this code is just used to read the token from the database and pass the notification. Okay, just send the notification. So later on, I will just explain this. So that's that. Now, guys, to send the notification, what we have to do in API service, we have to define one more function, that is send notification. And in the send notification function, I passed notification sender, in short, this class notification sender object as an argument. Okay, that's that. And this is nothing but an URL of the Firebase. You have to just write this code to send the notification. But before that, you have to, in this header format, guys, be careful, this is a round bracket. Okay, after the headers, there is a round bracket, and these are the curly brackets. Okay, so we have to add the server key. So let me find the server key. So open the Firebase console, and from this project overview, click on this project settings, and from this cloud messaging, you will get the server key. Let me click on this cloud messaging and just copy the server key. Okay, do not use my server key. Okay, so I will just delete this project. So if you will use this server key, then your application will generate the bug. Now copy that server key, copy and paste that server key over here. That's that. So that is the required things we have to set to pass the notification to the receiver application. Now just follow this thing. Okay, just add this code in your Android application. Now guys, in this notification, we just got the key, and just and this method send notification. What we have to do, we have to create an object of this data class. In this data, we have only two things, the title and the message actually. So create the object and pass this title and message, which we will get from the user. Okay, and now create the notification sender object. Here it is, class. The class is defined. So create the object of notification sender. Pass the data as an argument, data object, and user token, means to whom you want to send that notification. Now after that, create the object of API service class and pass the FCM URL as an URL. What is that FCM URL? I already declared that over here. So that's the FCM URL, https://fcm.googleapis.com. Okay, pass that URL as an argument. So you will get the object of this API service. Now call the send notification function. We already discussed that, and pass the sender as an argument. So same thing is there, guys, on response. On response, this function will be invoked if your notification will be successfully send. So I just toss the message on that notification has been sent, and on failure I just make a log over there. So that's that, guys. So let me go through the code. Sorry, go through the PPT actually. So that's at the service key, at the server key. Okay. Now I just forgot to discuss this class. Guys, I having one more class that is client, and it is also used to return the retrofit object, but with the different URL. Okay. So why I just defined here, because in this I want to just pass the HCM URL. Okay, Firebase URL I want to pass. In this client underscore vamp, I have a URL. Same code is there on both the class. Okay, that's a boilerplate code. I didn't filter out that. Okay, I didn't figure out that. So just create the copy of that class only. But I will use this class to send the notification. So here I use the client object actually. Okay, in the send notification method, I use the client class, and in this on click, I just use client underscore vamp. So be careful for that. Here the client underscore vamp to read the content from the database, and here I use the client class to send the notification. So be careful for that. Okay, so now after that, we have all these classes. We already discussed all these classes, and we already discussed the final code also on the on button click and the send notification code. Now guys, the last step is just modify your manifest file. So add the permission, that's the internet permission, and we read the data from the local database. So add this clear text traffic equals to true also. So now this is manifest. So inside that, just add this internet permission and also add this line in an application tag. Okay, so that's done. So now run this application, guys. And finally, what we will have, so this is my sender application with the two edit text and a button. What I add in that, in the title part, I just add Radhe, and in the notification body part, I just write down JC Krishna. So guys, now whenever you will click on this button, you will get a notification over here in the sender application. Just check this. Okay, so that's the notification. This arrow source, here we have a notification. You can just check this one. So that's my receiver application, having a main activity, having a message, the first screen of the notification receiver application. Now guys, whenever you will click on this notification, you will get a second activity as an output. So that's that. So guys, run the application and check the output. So if you have any doubt, then you can just write in a comment section, and do not forget to like my video and also subscribe if you want to get the updates. Okay, I will upload this code on my website. That's gisurat.com/Govardhan, and on your you will just get a code tag. Let I just go through that. Just a moment. So gisurat, that's that, and I will upload within a moment. This project code I will upload with the PHP files actually. Okay, both the application and PHP file I will upload. Database I will not upload. So in this website, just click on this downloads, and in a codes tag, you will find lots of code actually, lots of programming code I uploaded. And I'll select the, just find the Android and click download. So here I will upload as a first tag. Okay, so here please search app to app code. Okay, I will upload within a moment after this video recording. Okay guys, so now if you have any doubt, then you can just write in a comment section. Okay, that's it guys for this video. Thank you very much. Goodbye.